Scottsdale, Arizona is known as a luxurious city with high-end resorts, fine dining, and especially safe. However, it has also witnessed one of the bloodiest cases in recent history: brutal murder of 29-year-old Lauren Heike. On a morning in April 2023, the beautiful and safe city of Scottsdale, Arizona was shaken by a brutal murder. Lauren Heike, a 29-year-old young woman, was brutally murdered while walking on a popular trail in northern Phoenix, within Scottsdale. Her death sparked horror and fear within the community, raising many questions about the criminal justice system and how society deals with individuals who have the potential for violence. On the morning of April 28th, Lauren Heike began her walk on the familiar trail. It was an ordinary day like any other, and she had no idea that it would be the last time she would enjoy the pleasure of walking outdoors. Nearly 24 hours later, Phoenix police received a report of an injured person along the trail. When rescuers arrived, they discovered Heike's body in an area not easily visible from the main path. Investigators immediately realized this was a murder. Officials stated that Heike had been attacked from behind while walking on the trail. She had been stabbed 15 times, and some wounds indicated that she had tried to defend herself. It's possible she tried to escape, as there were signs that she had attempted to climb over a nearby barbed wire fence. However, her injuries were too severe, and Heike died at the scene. In the days following Heike's murder, Phoenix police released a surveillance video showing a suspect in the case. Meanwhile, detectives used DNA found on Heike's shoe to link a suspect to the crime, 23-year-old Teasley. Investigators said they were able to identify him quickly because Teasley's DNA was already in the system. In fact, he had been released from prison only 5 months before Heike was murdered, after serving time for multiple offenses, including disorderly conduct and armed robbery. Officials stated that Teasley might have stalked Heike before killing her, and even admitted to being the person in the surveillance video before retracting his statement, claiming uncertainty. Additionally, he made a puzzling comment to investigators, saying he wanted to look like Heike. At the time of Heike's murder, Teasley was living with his mother, about a mile from where Heike's body was found. Investigators also learned that he had been fired from his job just a week before committing the crime due to his aggressiveness toward women. Teasley was arrested on May 4th, 2023, and was later indicted by a grand jury for first-degree murder. He pleaded not guilty. Since then, Maricopa County prosecutors have announced that they will seek the death penalty when the case goes to trial in the fall of next year. However, just this week, Teasley was charged with 2 new counts of aggravated assault and burglary. This is an unrelated incident alleged to have occurred in 2020. The details of this case bear significant similarities to the Heike case. Criminal defense attorney Adam Kay explained how investigators might have linked Teasley to this new case. "I find this an interesting investigative pattern. They saw what happened to Ms. Heike, that she was chased down and stabbed to death. Then they seem to have gone back to the case files and reviewed other cases that matched this profile. So they went back to the victim in this 2020 case and said they thought this was a match and it fit the description. Then they put him in a lineup, and that ultimately led to this new arrest." I would say the type of person, the type of crime, type of weapon, and the description of the attacker all match. Investigators have not publicly disclosed the identity of the victim in that 2020 incident, but they have provided some details. According to officials, the attack occurred in January 2020. The woman was returning to her apartment when Teasley allegedly broke in. According to prosecutors, he stabbed the woman before she could resist and then fled. This attack happened just months before Teasley was charged with other offenses, leading to a plea deal and his subsequent prison sentence. There are notable similarities between the crimes Teasley was previously convicted of, the allegations in the Heike case, and the new 2020 victim. In all 3 instances, he is accused of using the same type of weapon, a knife, and attacking the victims in the same manner. Attorney Adam Kay commented on these similarities. "It appears that neither the Heike case nor this newly uncovered case had a sexual motive. Usually, in a case like this, especially one that receives media attention, the sexual factor is often a key element, primary motives. But that doesn't seem to be the case here. There are even questions about whether he was struggling with his sexual orientation or his identity at the time. As he said, he wanted to look like Lauren Heike. There is no evidence of any sexual assault. Regarding the 2020 attack, Adam K. added, "It seems this woman was pushed into her apartment, stabbed a few times, but ultimately fought him off and successfully escaped. Thank God she was able to get out." Lauren Heike also tried to do that. There's a lot of evidence that she tried to run away. She jumped over a fence. She certainly tried her best to escape her attacker, but she was stabbed 15 times. We don't know the sequence of the stabbings or which wound was the first. It may have been physically impossible to escape this situation, especially out in the open or on a trail where there was no one around to help. After Heike's murder, Phoenix investigators connected the dots and realized that the 2023 case had a similar story to the 2020 attack. So they brought in the survivor from the 2020 attack, and she was able to identify Teasley in a lineup. This identification led to the new charges against Teasley. However, Adam K. warned that this identification might be challenged in court. You have a case where he is currently being charged, the Heike case that is very high profile and widely covered. So a defense attorney will say she recognized him in the lineup because she has seen him on the news in the past year. Of course, he looks familiar. Adam K. believes that prosecutors will need more than just the identification and the similarities between the crimes. He said that DNA evidence would be ideal. If they have any DNA that can match him, then I think it's game over. But really, that's how he was caught in the Heike case, wasn't it? Because some DNA found on a shoe was already in the database from a previous robbery he committed. Another critical point to consider is the timing. The Lauren Heike case is expected to go to trial in October 2025, while the new case related to the 2020 attack is still ongoing. Adam K. explained that this could affect whether the jury in the Heike case hears about the alleged 2020 attack. The fact is that if that case goes to trial in October 2025, this new case may still be ongoing. And if the case is ongoing, then the charges are not evidence of anything. So, you won't be able to use a charge or an arrest against someone without a conviction, in most cases. Adam K. also noted that judges are typically very cautious about allowing evidence of prior bad acts, especially after a recent high-profile trial was partially dismissed for this reason. This means that the jury in the Lauren Heike case may never hear about the alleged 2020 attack. Adam K. explained, "Even as we talk about it now, it seems like, well, of course the jury should hear about all of this. This is what this guy does. He goes out, finds women, stabs them, and commits these horrendous acts of violence." However, the reality is that legally, the prosecutor should be limited to the specific evidence used for the Lauren Heike case. For this 2020 case, it might be limited to whatever evidence can be admitted solely for that case. Another big question for the Heike case is whether Teasley will decide to testify or not. Adam K. commented on this possibility. "This is one of those cases where I cannot know what they are saying privately due to attorney-client privilege. But as a defense lawyer, you're not allowed to put forth false testimony that you know to be false in court. That's the number one rule we have. From what I understand of the facts here, Zion told the officers that it was him in that 6-second video clip running away from where Lauren Heike was found and said he wanted to look like her. So there are things that I think would be very difficult for him to testify. I don't see a scenario where he gets on the witness stand and has a story that explains any part of what he was doing there, why his DNA is on her shoe, why cell phone data puts him there, why the video shows him running away, and then the statements he made. Even something like, "If I ever killed someone, it wouldn't be on purpose." That's not an exact quote, but it's close to that. However, Adam K. noted that ultimately it's Teasley's decision. Ultimately, Teasley is the one who makes the final decision. Every defendant has the right to testify. There have certainly been trials where I thought I had the win in the bag, I had an acquittal in my hand, and I told my clients, "You don't need to testify, don't testify, I want you not to testify." But as you say, it's one of the few things we don't control. Another crucial element in this case is the prosecutor's decision to seek the death penalty for Teasley. Adam Kay explained the reasoning behind this decision. I think there are a few things. There's the fact that the killing of Lauren Heike was incredibly brutal. She was stabbed 15 times. But it also tells me that the prosecutor has a very strong case if they believe they are going to seek the death penalty in Arizona, especially when death penalty cases have been on the decline. However, Adam Kay noted that Maricopa County's decision to seek the death penalty might complicate the case. This means there will be a pretrial hearing about whether the death penalty should be sought. But it also adds complexity to the defense. There are now additional resources available. This is not going to be a case that ends quickly or is resolved in a single day. If convicted, Zion Teasley could face the death penalty or life imprisonment. However, the investigation is still ongoing, and new evidence and developments could influence the outcome of this case.